How to divide fractions. Before we proceed to dividing of fractions, let us have first a review about the reciprocals of numbers. So, reciprocal, it is also referred to as multiplicative inverse. So, like for example, we have 3/4. So, the multiplicative inverse of 3/4 is 4 over 3, meaning in the first fraction, our original fraction is 3/4. The numerator is 3 and the denominator is 4. In the multiplicative inverse, the 3 numerator becomes our denominator and our denominator will become our new numerator. So 3/4 becomes 4 over 3. Another example, we have 2 over 7. The reciprocal of 2 over 7 is 7 over 2. Another example, we have 6 over 10 or 6/10, and the reciprocal is 10 over 6. What if the number is whole number? Now, how do we find the reciprocal of this whole number? We know that 5 is equal to 5 over 1. So there is an imaginary denominator which is 1. So 5 equals 5 over 1. And now the reciprocal of 5 or 5 over 1 is 1/5. And how about if our fraction is a mixed number? So like for example, we have 3 and 2 over 7. First, before we get the reciprocal of this number, let us change this to improper fraction. So 3 and 2 7 is equal to 23 over 7. Meaning 7 times 3 is 21 plus 2 is 23. And then copy the denominator which is 7. So our fraction is 23 over 7. And the reciprocal of this is 7 over 23. Did you understand? Now, let's proceed to division of fractions. Right, so in dividing fraction, for example, we have 4/5 divided by 1/5. The first step is just to multiply the dividend by the reciprocal of the divisor. So we have 4/5 divided by 1/5. First is we have to copy the first fraction, which is 4/5, and then change the division symbol to multiplication symbol, and then write the reciprocal of the second fraction. Our second fraction is 1/5, so the reciprocal of this is 5 over 1. Now, the second step is multiply the numerators and the denominators. So we have 4 times 5 and 5 times 1. Then, the next step is divide the numerator and the denominator by the GCF or by the greatest common factor. So 4 times 5 equals 20 and 5 times 1 equals 5. Since that our answer is in the higher term, we have to divide this numerator and denominator by the GCF or by their greatest common factor. So we all know that by listing method, the factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. And the factors of 5 by listing method is 1 and 5. Now, the greatest common factor or the greatest factor that can be found by 5 and 20 is 5. Therefore, their GCF or their greatest common factor is 5. Now we will have to divide 20 over 5 or 25th by 5/5. Right, so 20 divided by 5 equals 4. And 5 divided by 5 equals 1. Now, 4 over 1 becomes 4. Next, What if our dividend is a whole number and our divisor is a fraction? How do we divide whole number by a fraction? Like for example, we have 5 divided by 1/3. Now we all know that 5, a whole number, becomes 5 over 1 in fraction form. So we have 5 over 1 divided by 1/3. First is multiply the dividend by the reciprocal of the divisor. Alright, so copy the first fraction, 5 over 1, and then change the division again by multiplication symbol, and then write the reciprocal of the second fraction, becomes 3 over 1. Now, multiply the numerators and the denominators. So, 5 times 3 over 1 times 1. Right, so 5 times 3 equals 15, and 1 times 1 equals 1. And then, simplify, it becomes 15. 15 over 1 or 15. 15 is our final answer. How about if the first fraction or the dividend is a mixed number and the divisor is a fraction? Like for example, we have 2 and 1/5 divided by 2/3. So first step is to change mixed number to improper fraction. So you have 2 and 1/5 divided by 2/3. 5 times 2 equals 10 plus 1 equals 11. Then copy the denominator 5. So it becomes 11 over 5 divided by 2/3. Second is multiply the dividend by the reciprocal of the divisor. So we have to write 11 over 5 divided by 2/3. It becomes 11 over 5 times 3 over 2. And then multiply the numerators and the denominators. So 11 times 3 becomes 33. And then 5 times 2 becomes 10. 33 over 10 is not the final answer since this is the higher term or the higher form of fraction. So we have to divide the numerator by its denominator. Okay, so 33 divided by 10 equals 3. And then 3 times 10 equals 30. Then 33 minus 30 equals 3. Now, 3, the quotient, becomes the whole number. And then the remainder, 3, becomes the numerator. And then the divisor 10 becomes our denominator. Now, in the simplified answer is 3 over 3 and 3 over 10. So this is now our final answer.